Hey there, this is Janelle. Welcome to the Unfamous Life YouTube channel. Now, for today's topic, we're going to talk about the 2024 elections and the aftermath. And I'm sure I'm late to this conversation because this election happened already about a week ago now, based on when I'm filming this. And it's so strange to me because the reactions that I've been seeing from people warrant a further and deeper investigation into what's actually going on with them mentally and emotionally. And I've been feeling that way for a while with a lot of different topics that I see that surface online and stuff like that. But definitely with the recent elections, I feel like it has been extremely highlighted. I just find it a little worrisome and concerning and frankly sad that there are so many people out there who seem to think that their life is literally ending because of the fact that a certain person was voted into office. And as of this recording, the person that is the president-elect is Donald Trump. Sorry. And the fact that you can literally go on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube Reels even, and you see people having literal meltdowns because of the fact that there are people who feel concerned about their rights and their their life being literally taken away from them. How is that possible? Frankly, the fact that you can actually get online and say something like that, first of all, shows how privileged you are. People who are truly oppressed and don't have any rights don't necessarily have access to free internet. And I don't mean just in cost. I mean like you're free to look up and find any kind of information you want to know. That within itself is a freedom. That's a right that you have as a U.S. citizen that many people, especially women in other third world countries, or even if they're not necessarily third world in other countries, they don't have that right because everything is censored and monitored by their government. So the fact that you can get online and say that you feel like your rights are being taken away is really obtuse of you. It's very, very privileged, very elitist. Secondly, what rights are being taken away? I really need to understand what rights are being taken away because it seems like a lot of women are holding on to this this notion that because they no longer have the ability to delete a baby as easily, I was trying to find my wording, delete a baby as easily, you're losing your rights? Is this the purge? Am I in the Twilight Zone? I truly just want to know, and I need to know. You feel like your rights are being taken away because you don't have the right as easily to take away someone else's life, because that really is what it boils down to. How about we go back to having self-control? I mean, I feel like that gets lost in translation a lot. And in case you didn't know, surprise, surprise, this is a Christian conservative channel. So, that's not your cup of tea. Feel free to exit stage left. That's fine. No hard feelings. But for those who really do care about free speech, and even if you don't agree, you want to hear a different person's perspective, you're always welcome to stay. But how about we go back to having self-control? Because I think the fact that we promote a culture of casual, free, reckless sex is really the cause of the matter that's causing a lot of unplanned pregnancies. That then you feel like your only option is to delete the child. A lot of women, and I've read a lot of these comments and I agree wholeheartedly because I think this expression or this statement says it so clearly that women, a lot of these same women love to say, my body, my choice. But what happens when the baby that you're pregnant with is a woman, is a female? They're not getting a choice with their body. No, as a matter of fact, you're making the decision for their body to be ripped to shreds so that you can continue to selfishly live the life that you want to live without any real consequences behind it. That's insane to me. I think that's really hypocritical of you, the person who believes that, and also a little bit insane because you want to continue doing the same things and expecting a different result. And that's literally the definition of insanity. That cannot be so. So I need to understand beyond that, what other rights are being taken away from you? Because from what I understand, your rights, your care, your access to care as a woman is remaining the same. The only thing that is changing in terms of the laws to delete a baby is that it's going down to the state level. So the state is the one that determines whether or not they will allow those procedures within their state, within their providence. And if your state does not offer you the option to commit a crime, there are other states that will allow you to do that, because that's really what it is. I'm not trying to be funny. I'm not trying to be sarcastic. That's really how I feel about that. And not only that, there is... I lost my train of thought. I'm trying to come back to it. There's... So I remember I was going to say the community... that it seems very hard to speak out against. So I'm going to call them the alphabet community, or the ABC community, just because I don't want this video to get flagged unnecessarily for any disrespect. But I'm going to call them the ABC community. They seem to be terrified for their safety and their rights, when I didn't really necessarily hear any of this rhetoric when Obama was president. The Supreme Court ruled in favor of same-sex marriage. The same Supreme Court that ruled in favor of overturning Roe v. Wade when Obama wasn't president. And I was trying to say when Trump was not in the White House, when Trump was not president. This happened under the Biden-Harris administration. So the same Supreme Court that overturned Roe v. Wade, they're the same ones who approved same-sex marriage under, mind you, the presidency of Obama, whom, by the way, for a good portion of his terms as presidency, has openly stated that he does not agree with or believe in same-sex marriage. However, you didn't see this same kind of rhetoric online, where people from the alphabet community were scared for their safety and scared for their rights and scared that the president might pass some law to try and overturn what the Supreme Court has ruled against. You didn't see any of this rhetoric. In fact, people still love him to this day. So now, because we're moving in a conservative into office who has actually openly stated that he doesn't care about marriage rights, in the sense that he doesn't care to take it away from anyone. He's fine whether you want to be in a same-sex marriage, you want to be in a heterosexual marriage. He doesn't care. He feels like anybody should be free to love who they love, but yet you feel like your rights are being threatened somehow. I need to understand the logic of this. I really do. But anyway, I don't want to digress too far into all the technicalities of, the policies that the president-elect wants to enforce, and how there seems to be a lot of misinformation online because people won't take 5 to 10 minutes of their time to do proper research on their own and not just listen to the countless and numerous reels or TikTok videos that you might find of people just spreading misinformation. What I really want to talk about is the fact that this election, again, seems to have unveiled a prevalence of mental health issues in this country. The fact that most of us, or most of the generation starting from millennials and down specifically, seem to be spending most of their time online, I truly believe has altered the chemistry and the wiring of their brain. The neurons that consist in our brain to help, formulate ideas and, that can help control and contribute to our critical thinking skills, I feel like they have been severely impacted and impaired as of late, because of the fact that the generations from millennials, so my generation and down, seem to spend all of their time online. No one, actually goes outside anymore in a real way where their face is not disconnected from a screen to actually to talk to people, and actually nurture those relationships in real life. The fact that social media seems to rule every part of your life is causing this new wave and prevalence, honestly, this epidemic of a mental health crisis. That is really what's going on. We have to finally find a way. We need to strive to find a way to pull ourselves out of this make believe world of the internet, of online interactions of social media, so we can actually see and understand and comprehend what's happening around us. TikTok is not real. Instagram is not real. Facebook is not real. Are there real pieces of information on each of these platforms? Absolutely. That's something that I'm striving to contribute to the real side of these platforms. And of course, this is all based on my opinion. This is my channel. But for the most part, these platforms have become worlds within themselves. They're not real. It's not real. On Instagram, what you're seeing are people's highlight reels. On TikTok, you're seeing pieces and snapshots of people's opinions and people's lives and cool hacks that a lot of them are pointless, to be honest with you, if I'm being honest with you, and really cute, I guess, but needless, quick fashion and quick gadgets. It's not a real world. But yet people, especially younger generations, younger people, have built their lives around this. That if you're not on TikTok, like, what are you doing? You're a weirdo. Like, you're not up to beat. You're not up to beat. Lord, I'm aging myself. I'm 31, so there you go. You're not up to date on what's happening. You're not in the now. You're not on it, essentially. And it's really sad. And my calling goes back out to the parents, me being a parent of myself, but my calling goes back out to the parents. What happens to taking away phones from kids? Yes, I understand you may feel like in this day and age, everybody has a phone. That's fine. You may feel like they need it. That's fine, I guess. I would say that maybe they more need it for safety, and so you can keep tabs on them and know where they are, and they can reach you. God forbid anything happens. But we need to go back to encouraging no screen time. And I'm not saying this from the perspective of like, oh, just use it as a form of punishment, because that just makes people want it more. No, I don't mean it like that. Like, encourage it as that should be part of our normal life. That is something healthy to do, to disconnect from a screen, because it's getting ridiculous that they've literally made their whole worlds social media. And because of that, that has encouraged poor mental hygiene, where now if something goes even slightly wrong in their lives, they don't know how to cope. Their immediate response is to fall into some kind of depression, or maybe even consider deleting themselves. That's ridiculous. That doesn't make any sense. That shouldn't be. We should be able to have better coping mechanisms. You should be able to know that if something goes wrong in your life, well, first of all, that's life. Life is gonna life sometimes. But secondly, you should also have someone to talk to. Well, secondly, you should pray, okay? Because God is our first resource, our first solution, our main source for life. That should be your first go-to. But then go and find someone that you trust that has a little bit more life experience than you, and talk to them. Tell them what is going on with you, so that they can also give you some sound and wise advice back. And also, a little bit struggle in life is good. It builds character. There is such thing as good stress. That is a real thing. We have to let go of this phrase that has also taken over everybody's lives of, oh, well, I'm letting go of everything that doesn't serve me. Well, no, you need some things in your life that don't serve you, so that you can build a backbone, so that you can build some character. Because if you don't know how to struggle just a little bit, you won't have resilience. And resilience is very necessary for you to get through life, for you to be able to survive, for you to live, for you to thrive. If you can't be resilient, you're essentially eliminating yourself out of the option to just have a fulfilling life. Because everything that's hard is just, you can't have it in your life. No. Build some resilience, gain some strength, but you can only do that if you go through some good stress. I mean, exercising is a good form of stress. You literally cause stress to your muscles when you exercise. And I'm sure this is not brand new information, so I'm sure I'm not saying anything groundbreaking. But for those who maybe don't know, when you exercise in any form, whether it be cardio, but especially when you're doing strength training or strength resistance or whatever you want to call it, or resistance training, I'm sorry, and you're lifting a kind of weight or even resistance bands, however you want to strength train, you're actually causing micro tears in your muscles. Like you're ripping your muscles on purpose. That's literally what's happening. You're ripping your muscles on purpose. So that way, when you're no longer doing that exercise and now your body is at rest, your body goes back with all the good red blood cells and repairs those muscle tears. And those repairs literally make the muscle thicker. It inflames it a little bit, a good type of inflammation. It just makes it a little bit thicker. And of course, if there are any doctors, personal trainers, nutritionists, dietitians in the chat, if I'm saying anything wrong, please feel free to correct me in the comment section. Sorry, please feel free to correct me. But the repairs that your blood cells do on the muscles cause your muscles to thicken, and that's literally what causes the increase in your muscle size and hopefully in your strength. That is good stress that you're causing your body. When you're at school and you're studying and you're learning something and now you get a quiz or a pop quiz or a test or a midterm, it's literally good stress to test the critical thinking part of your brain, your frontal lobe that makes decisions and thinks through problems. Is to make sure that the information that you absorbed, you can now apply. Of course, I'm not saying that all schools get this right, but that is the purpose of testing. That is supposed to be the purpose of generalized and standardized testing, to test and to put that frontal lobe of yours to work so that can help it develop and get better at critical thinking and applying information to what you've learned to real life problems and come up with solutions. There is such a thing as good stress, but we've gotten into this era and this phase where we don't want to deal with any kind of stress, and honestly, it has made us weak mentally. Our mental hygiene is so poor because we cannot handle a little bit of struggle. We no longer know what it is to struggle. And I am daring to say that we need to get back to having a little bit of a hard time in life so that the frontal lobe, your frontal cortex, can start working its muscle again and be able to operate that critical thinking aspect that you need to apply solutions to real life problems that you have. Social media, honestly, is building such a weak generation. And we, the older generations, I'm part of the millennial generation, us as parents, older cousins, older sisters, older siblings, whatever you want to call it, if you have some kind of influence over someone in a younger generation's life, we're the ones who are allowing it to happen. It is our fault. So whoever you have in your sphere of influence, talk to them. Try to disconnect them from their phone just for a little bit. Spend time with them. And it's okay to warn them and even scare them a little bit about the horrors of being in social media all the time, because it's real. It's not just to scare you for scaring's sake. No, there are real consequences for you building your whole world around social media. That's why we're seeing also such an increase in younger generations and teenagers who are willing to take their own lives because their whole world is that. And when something goes wrong in this made up world that they have decided to live in, because of the fact that their frontal cortex is not fully developed, so they're not fully mature enough to make life decisions by themselves, they decide to it's better to not be here at all. Because their made up world that they have built has collapsed. What are we doing? What are we actually doing? Anyway, I know I went off on a rant, and I didn't mean to, but I hope you can get something out of this. And I will leave you with my model scripture, one of the model scriptures that I have for this business, which I also consider my ministry. It says, "You will keep him in perfect peace, whose mind is stayed on thee. And I feel like because of the fact that most of us do not have our minds focused on the right things, specifically, we don't have our mind focused on God and on His Word, we're not at peace. We're not at peace. We're constantly living in chaos and in disorder and in discord, and we don't know how to handle it. And it's causing our mental health to decline. And what we're seeing now, the reactions that we're seeing to the current elections, is a manifestation of that very thing. Our minds are not at peace because we're not focused on the things that we need to be focused on. We're not grounded in real life. So I just want to encourage you today to redirect your focus. Bring it back to God. Bring it back to the Word of God. Come back to real life. I guess that's my call to action to everyone. Come back to real life, please. But anyway, if you are looking for a mental health coach that can help walk you through different stages of your life, I'm here. Feel free to check the description box for the link below. Feel free to book a session with me. I am always happy and willing to talk with you and pray with you, of course. And also, feel free to leave a comment what your opinion is, what you thought about the video, and other topics that you would like to see from me. Of course, like and subscribe. And I can't wait, and I'm looking forward to speaking with you in another video. Bye.